It's black, it's a bullpup, and it bears more than a passing resemblance to a much more expensive PCP. But is it any good? Hello and welcome to AAR on Air, and today I'm back in Snow Peak territory with this, the P35, which does look rather familiar. Let's check out the price, accuracy and usability, shall we? The first thing to do is to find out the definitive stats, because I've looked in several places and most seem to have conflicting figures, ranging from the box it came in, the owner's manual, and the marketing material issued and used by shops. The length of this little bullpup is actually 687mm, which is a little over 27 inches, and it tips the scales at a really lightweight 2.4 kilograms, which is 4.8 pounds in imperial, unscoped. And it does feel very light indeed. It has a 265cc reservoir on board and will fill to a maximum 25 megapascals or 250 bar pressure, as stated in the manual and on the gauge and on the cylinder itself. The barrel length is 450mm, which means there is around 100 to 120mm of silencer components in the end of the shroud. These are available in 177, 22, 25 calibers, and they have magazine capacities of 11, 9 and 8 shots respectively. This is the 177 or 4.5mm version I have here. One of the dimensions I don't normally talk about is the width. This is really slim, which isn't a problem or even a negative, just an observation. It still remains very comfortable, and with its low weight, slim design would probably suit a lady or a junior shooter really well, and yet still be comfortable for most other users too. It is in an all black design and finished in this thumb hole synthetic one-piece stock with the same material for the cheek rest on the top. The shrouded barrel does have a silencer built into the front, as we've said, but the design means there is no standard half-inch thread on the front to be able to add additional silencing should you wish. That said, this is really very quiet in its standard form. Whether anyone does an aftermarket option or not, I'm not sure. Underneath this is that 265cc cylinder with a very clear manometer or gauge on the front. Again, not ideal, but more cost effective in construction, and is probably better than having it stuck out somewhere for it to get knocked about, as is fitted to some other bullpups. It is easily viewable without the need to look straight down the business end, and is colour coded to show the max fill pressure with an amber, green and red markings. The very end has a sliding filler port cover, something that I really do like because this is sprung loaded and very neat and tidy. This does of course mean that there's no way of losing the cover or dropping it in the dirt, etc. A nice touch that would be nice to see on some other manufacturers' rifles. The filler probe in the box, but it will require a Foster fitting female snap connector to use. But if you don't have one on your pump or tank, etc., they are really cheap and readily available. The top rail is Weaver Picatinny, which suits the style of this lightweight bullpup and makes scope swapping a lot easier. Below the rail is a biathlon style side lever. This is a big improvement on the old style bullpups from Snow Peak that were fully rifle based mechanisms, and they dropped them into a shorter stock. and the cocking action was right at the back and finished up right behind your right ear, and you needed to be some sort of contortionist to operate them. No such thing here with this P35. The action is pretty smooth for a more budget end bullpup and has a cam system to click the side lever back into the home position once it's cocked. It is quite open to the elements and possible dirt and grit, etc. But so are some much more expensive versions of their rifles. The trigger is below this, and I have seen claims that this is adjustable, but the supplied manual doesn't cover this particular model off at all, and it isn't evident that it's adjustable from the outside and would maybe need the stock taking off to do so. That said, other than the initial specifications, the manual doesn't mention the P35 in any way other than how to load the magazine. After saying that, the trigger is two-stage item and is really pretty comfortable to use. The grip is a moulded one-piece in that ambidextrous stock and is slim yet very comfortable. The matching cheek piece is also comfortable, and like a lot of style bullpups, it's not adjustable, so the height of your scope mount will be your method of lining up your scope to eye position. There is a rubberized butt pad at the rear, but this being a sub 12 foot-pound version PCP, it's not really that vital, but it's a nice to have nonetheless. Time to check out the power output on this little black number. So, over to the chronograph. Using 8.44 grain pellets, it saw 750 feet per second, which is 10.54 foot-pounds or 14.3 joules. I thought I would pop in some 10.34 grain heavier pellets, and it saw 707 feet per second, which is 11.48 foot-pounds or 15.56 joules. So, if it's stopping power you want, then it's much happier with the heavier pellets. Loading the magazine is a twist and skirt first type magazine, which means you turn the front cover counterclockwise all the way, then drop your first pellet in skirt first from the rear. Then turn the cover clockwise and drop in the rest of the pellets head first until you've filled the entire magazine. When all the magazine is full, which in this case as a 177 caliber means 11 rounds, then you can pull back on that side lever all the way, then drop the magazine in from the right hand side. Push your side lever all the way forward and you're ready to go. One interesting point is just how neat and tidy that is, making this ambidextrous situation quite easy, and you're not going to catch yourself on that magazine. That's neat and tidy. I like that. The safety is a push-through manual item and is behind the trigger. Left to right for safe and right to left for fire. There is a raised shaping to the safety area to prevent accidentally dropping this into fire. Another nice simple feature. Right, let's get this scoped up and onto the range to test the accuracy, shall we? Now, as this is a medium budget gun, I thought I would drop a Veyron scope on this, which again is smaller and more compact and will complement this bullpup really nicely. Snowpeak P35 or Artemis P35 or whatever you want to call it. It is all black. It's very, very lightweight, even with the scope on the top. Very slim, super slim. A nice little close quarters ratting gun. It's very quiet is one of the things that I really noticed. And the not complaint, but certainly an observation, is you have got to get your scope mounts correct to get that balance. It's a difficult one this morning because it's a very early start this morning. I'm expecting the builders here and I want to get on with this first. And the sun is coming right down at the side of my eye, so we'll see how we go with it anyway. I've used one magazine to zero it in, approximately, and it's also very breezy today. But it's actually what I've shot with it so far I've quite enjoyed. So let's see how we go, shall we? Yeah, it's really quite breezy. That was me. You can see where it's grouping, where the wind isn't affecting it, and then you can see where the wind is just taking it out. Yeah, wind again. Now, there we go, that's the lot. To be honest, I wanted it to be more realistic, so you can see. Now I could wait and wait and wait for a calm day, but if you're out and about, you're going to get a bit of a breeze. Now, that I don't think is bad at all. It's very nice to use, but it's a little strange because it is very, very thin, and it just wants a little bit of getting used to. I would absolutely state that you want some high mounts on your scope, because I think these are mediums and they're not high enough. I'm struggling a little bit to get down, but I say that's not an issue. You just put some high mounts on it, simple as that. And we are shooting out at 40 meters. It's a nice gun. It's ultra light, and I do quite like that safety as well. Yeah, it's a surprise. It looks very familiar, but it is a surprise, and it's quiet. Quite like that. Just go and get the results. Yeah, I feel really confident that with a set of higher mounts and just getting used to it a little bit, and I'd probably like to try some QISs through it, to be fair. I was using JSBs, some QISs, and I think we can probably improve that. That's where the bulk of it was going through, and then the wind was affecting it. One of them was my fault, but yeah, I'm impressed. I'm really quite impressed. Calmer day, higher mounts, I think you'll be spot on. Back to the studio. Well, I for one am quite pleased with that. I don't think that's bad at all. Not ideal conditions, but really good, really accurate, and it's nice and fun to use. This is quite a nice little lightweight bullpup to use, as I say, and in the UK the price is less than £550 for a regulated gun, and I don't think that's overly expensive. It does only come with a single magazine, and we've sort of come to expect Snowpeak to supply two and a single shot tray with their guns. But this magazine is metal and higher quality with no jamming issues, and it doesn't deform the pellets before they get into the barrel, which can happen in some of the cheaper plastic based magazines. It would make a really good ratting tool or an all-day carry pest control gun that you won't be too worried about damaging your expensive laminate stock with. It is fun to use and it put a smile on my face. From my perspective, it would be nice if there weren't so many contradictions in the specifications, but that's no detriment to the gun at all, and just something that frustrates journalists maybe. I don't think you would be at all disappointed if you bought one, and it is a prime example of Snow Peak upping their game. I've enjoyed this one, and hopefully you have too. If so, please, as always, give us the old thumbs up, subscribe, share, and click the alarm notification bell. Check out this little lot and the Airgun Factory Facebook pages. There is the AAR website for merch and much, much more. There are links to the scope and stand, etc. below. A big thank you to Vector Air for getting hold of this for me to review. The biggest thanks, as always, goes out to you guys for watching and supporting what we're trying to do here on the channel. Please stay safe and shoot safe, and hopefully I'll see you next week. Bye for now.